hold on. All right, so today is the November 29th. This is the bi-weekly Kepler community meeting. So we use this opportunity to go through the progress and resolve the pending issues. Our planned release date is the middle of the next month, December 15th or 13th, the week of 13th. So in this meeting, let's just try to come up with what we have and see what the release criteria will be for the December release. So for the last 2 weeks, I think that one of the biggest achievements is we have certain sort of end-to-end integration. So meaning that can make Kepler runs on both the bare metal as well as the virtual machines. So I think that is a tremendous progress, and thanks for everybody to make this happen. There has been a lot of issues going through the kind cluster and on Amazon. So right now we are able to run Kepler on kind as well as on AWS with all the metrics available. So that is one of the biggest achievements. So right now we support the offline model, also meaning that the model has to be trained and the Kepler will download the model as runtime. Once this model becomes available, Kepler will using both the counter-based metrics as well as the C-group-based metrics, depending on where you run on bare metal as well as on virtual machines, to make predictions for containers. So that is how it's working. We have not tested, so we do not have end-to-end test case for this estimator sidecar yet. So this is going to be tested in this iteration for the next 2 weeks. So one of the let's see who's here. So let's see, Kai, so Peng and Kai. So you are the experts on the estimator and the model server. Would you mind just spend some time these 2 weeks to go through this end-to-end integration? So I think one of us will pick up the end-to-end test to configure Kepler with sidecar estimator. And then that's going to be the first one of the first integration tests in these 2 weeks. The second integration will be the estimator with the model server that will conduct the online training and then update the model. I don't know if that can be done as an integration test or just can be done as a POC. I have never tried this one on my side, so I do not know how long it will take for the model server to kick off and to update the model. So if we can just have a early demonstration how this thing work, that will be great.
Right. Okay. We can probably get the initial models for C group only for you very, very quickly. We do have the data for it. Just you need to write up a script to just create the model, the TensorFlow model initially. So that can be done probably I think today, tomorrow. I had a meeting with Peng about it yesterday. About that. So we can get the initial models. For online training, I think that still needs, at least from what I've seen, it should be possible with Node, with the Node models, so Core and DRAM. But I think that needs to be tested. And I can probably test it while finishing it with the operator, because one of the parts, one of the controllers for the operator is for the model server, and that'll try to include online training with that. So, yeah, I have to look into that initially, unless Peng knows more about the current state of the online trainer.
Yeah, thank you.
Just a suggestion. Honestly, we don't think we are good. Kai, we talked about this earlier, but I think we are on too much time crunch to do this with the operator, because right now we just have to work on the integration. So just think it not from the point of operator. You can also think of scripts, because I don't think so we can do that in the operator. And we planned to do the version v1 alpha 1 would be just the explorer with offline models and estimator.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It should be separate. Well, we do have a lot of the code down already for, because prior to some of the changes to the pipeline, we already had like online learning more or less, which is just retraining the model from tuning the weights and then saving it again. So that should be already in place.
I mean, if you can do it, that's great. I'm just saying that we have until
right. It will be
Wednesday
separate from
to it.
operator. Yes.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
I think that is all makes sense. So at the moment, I think the end-to-end on the Kepler side needs to be ready first, and then we can consider how to integrate with the operator in the next step. Maybe that's going to be in the next release. If you are not, because given the time we have left for the next 2 weeks, Pam probably can share with us what you estimate. Can we have like a initial demo how this online training work and get the model updated?
I don't think we can do that in this release. I think our
Okay.
Comparing to like operator stuff, I think we should highlight that first to make sure that we can run the Kepler with the operator in a simple way so people can try. And also with the sidecar, yeah.
Correct. So do you think that is we can do it with a manual way? That's meaning that we deploy sidecar and the model server without operator. Can we do that?
Yeah, I can do that at least in my local test. I already test with the Kepler estimator sidecar, and I can share the manifest. And yeah, I can post that in the next before the next biweekly.
Okay, that'd be great. So we need to get that one. So let's just do that manual way and not make a documentation around this workflow. So people, if they want to try it, they will have a way to test it out on their own environment. And in the next iteration, we'll consider adding this capability in the manifest. In the operator. Okay, so that's great. Next, so announcements. We have the E3 test cases for the Kepler. So we are able in the CI. So we are able to deploy the cluster and deploy Kepler, and then we read out the metrics and verify the existence of the Kepler metrics. So we can do both for the container metrics as well as for the node metrics. Thanks for Sam's hard work to get this happen. So this end-to-end test is the first step. In the next step, we will need to verify the metrics actually showing what we are supposed to detect. So meaning that's when we create the part, we can see the metrics around this part. So both the container metrics as well as the path metrics around this path, and make sure this will pass our CI test. So I will still ask for Sam's help. So this will be hopefully.
When you can open a ticket for adding some test case to detect the new pod and their metrics. So far as we integrate with Prometheus code, so we can reference their sample and try to do something.
Okay. That's great. So this one we have already answered. The manifest. Actually, let's put this one. All right, so the unit test coverage. So we made some improvements. We started with lower 30s. Now we are close to 40% coverage. We still need to improve for the last 10 more percent. Can anybody, or maybe I can find that after the meeting, to see which package is still missing a unit test, and then we'll create tickets so people can just add more unit tests to these uncovered packages. Do we have any ideas for what we can do here for unit test? All right, let's keep asking.
I suppose, you can just, following Lingo, maybe Lingo generate or something to create a test suite for each package, and then run a go test, something to see the coverage per package and create test case. Create issue for each package. But what I'm worried about is about, currently we use a lot of internal pointer, especially for the collector. So which makes the test, or say test case, is hard to make because you need to check the pointer value, something of that, instead of return value. So a lot of more kind of things maybe needed for some packages when we try to add test case, and some folder, or say some package rely on the BCC library, which makes this hard. For example, for me, I'm a Mac user, so it's hard for me to adding that can add test case for BCC path.
Okay. Right. Would you mind to create issues when you see them? So which package has these issues? For example, the Mac user, you can have to add a test. That's the case. We make a platform dependence.
Generally it's because Mac don't have BCC support, I suppose. Or is there anyone know how to install BCC on Mac?
No, that is not possible because BCC is a Linux.
Yeah, it's a Linux filter, right? It depends on the BPF and the eBPF for Linux filter, Linux kernel. So you can open an issue for me, and I will try to get the list. Yeah, you can open an issue there. So because test coverage is not urgent, the priority is not an urgent one, it's a high priority. Hence, if we can clear about the to-do items, is that acceptable in current release plan?
Yes. So the coverage, we need to have at least 50% coverage to have a certain level of quality assurance that we are not. So even for the code path that has not been run in physical environments, we need to make sure they are being tested in the unit test environment.
Okay.
Okay. So next to the deployment, so the operator. So do we have a?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I wanted to show a demo, but I'm not there yet. So
Okay.
I would definitely do it by this week, send a recording to all of you. And I think the two biggest thing that I need to see to be done is integrating the model server, at least the offline models, and then working on packaging the operator. but the demo that we will have would not be the operator on the operator hub because it takes some time for the PR to be pushed. But I would be creating the PR this week, and the demo I can show on. I'll see if how I do it on OpenShift, but I can definitely show on Kind.
Okay.
Parul, I can help you with OpenShift. I've been working with it quite a bit.
Can we run like on Kind? I simply run the controller and that's it. Like I'm not just sure how to run it on OpenShift. Maybe I need to SSH into one of the nodes and then So I don't know how to run the operator without the operator, as in it's an OpenShift. Sorry, operator hub on OpenShift. So maybe you can help me with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I've been running on Microshift, if that's of interest to anyone.
No, but we have to test this on OpenShift.
Yep.
All right. So hopefully that will give us some surprise and more excitement when we are able to run this, make a quick deployment.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Online offline model. Okay. So when you have this demo ready, would you mind just have a quick document for what this operator can do in this release, and what are the ongoing items for the next release?
Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll do that.
Yeah. So also for Helm, Penghui, do you have any? So I know you have been working with Helm chart quite a lot.
Yeah.
So that is.
Yeah. I get the PR ready, and also Sam give the minor comments on that. And Sally, I not sure. Do you have time to check my PR? For this PR, I have already tested on the Kind, and I can deploy our Kepler export, and we can get the output. And right now I can continue to work on the Prometheus and Grafana part, but I think it is the web phase. It can be deployed, and if we only deploy Kepler, and then in the future maybe we can add the Prometheus and Grafana later, if we can consider deploy phase by phase.
Okay, I think that's a more realistic, because sometimes people already have the Prometheus and Grafana, and or maybe people don't need them in a small environments. So we can consider the options to let the end user decide whether they need it, or just they will just wait for the next time to deploy them. So make it optional. Yeah. Make the Grafana and the Prometheus optional will be great.
Cool.
So one more.
And
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry, I'm not sure. Do we need some more demo or recording for that? Because it's quite simple to run it. If it's necessary, I can make a recording and to deploy it.
Yeah.
To show the deployment.
Yeah, if you can, please just make a small recording. The typical way I run recording is Ask Cinema, generates art. Yeah, then you can post this art into your GitHub README.
Okay.
So that will be a very quick way for people to see what's the capabilities of your Helm charts and what's your process to run it. So without have to read all the instructions, they can just watch the recording.
Okay, cool. I will do that.
That's just my suggestion. If you have any other ways, feel free to do it.
Okay. I have a quick question. Is there a pull request for the Helm charts yet? I don't see it.
Oh, that's a
pull request. Yeah.
No, it's found in a different repo.
Oh, okay. Because I'd like to try it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see my PR.
Okay, great.
Do we have let me So for the demo, for the Helm chart demo, so we're recording with current states, or we're recording after Penghui moves to the CI on GitHub. I mean, use our CI for Helm chart as infrastructure as code, and demo with our pipeline script there.
Yeah, that would be good. I have not tried that yet.
I can do both. I think I can do both, and to get the feedback. And first, I can give the demo for current status, and then I can move to the status with the CI part.
Okay. So one more question. So how we are going to publish the chart?
Yeah, it's a good question, and for this, they can use this Helm chart and to directly make a deployment on their project. And also we can publish this Helm chart as the into the repository.
Okay. So this is my previous project. So we specifically create a repo for the chart. And then I think when you add the chart, add the repo, add repo add, you can just add that repo here. I don't know if that's the same thing.
Yeah, we can publish the chart, and then they can easily to install it.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, yeah, it seems like you just, I don't know how this works. Somebody else did it. Okay.
If we just release on GitHub, so we can use a GitHub action to do that. I can check with Penghui plan for GitHub action usage.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, maybe we can just put in the GitHub release. We don't have to have a specific repo for that, for the chart. Okay.
Cool.
And just add that time. Right. And also for the same thing, the operator, then we have to consider release. That's a way we can release the operator. So our operator hub is definitely the way. But maybe there's if there's any other environments we need to have the operator, then we're going to investigate how to use the maybe GitHub release or anything to post the manifest or artifacts. All right, so let's come to the doc. So we have one issue open for a doc. So last 2 weeks we switched over from Stepnix to make docs, and right now the web page looks. So this is our web page, and this is the documentation. So it makes pretty cool at the moment. So we have the request from Nikki to simplify the installation steps.
Yeah, I'm actually currently working on the first thing, the developer installation. So I renamed developer.md to contributing, and I'm changing the contributing guide. So maybe I need to create a new issue for that, and so to add things to the contributing guide, and then I will do the end user installation afterwards. So there's two. This ticket could be split into actually.
All right, that's good. So let us wait for your new contributions. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, it would be great to add the Helm installation eventually when it's ready.
Okay, I will do. Good tip.
Great. All right, so let us go through the pending issues. Do you see Jason here? So this one is the. I have not checked into the scenario yet, but it seems like something. This looks like a bug to me. If that's a zero process, that means the eBPF does not, either the eBPF does not detect the process name or the C group association has a bug. So in either case, this looks very odd to me that we have this zero process reported in the log. You say it's not here. I'm going to add it to my field.
So it can be like my first question was, is BPF running? Although we can see some pods, some containers here, it might be from the initialization, because that comes from the kubelet API. If you need to check if the BPF is running.
Okay. So it's, yeah, I think the so the first report is so we have some C group stuff. Yeah, that's you're right. So we have the C group stats, but we do not have the eBPF stats. So that's a good. All right.
And the BPF, it's the code is the one that increases this counter. So maybe something failed and the BPF is not running. I think we should follow up to the issue that, you know, for the other Go libraries for BPF that doesn't require maybe the kernel headers, things like that we had before. Let's see, I think it's the issue. Which issue was that? Yeah, it's the issue 323. It's because BPF should works fine in a VM, isn't it? So it's something that if it keeps failing, we need to improve that. But first we need to check if BPF is running. Might be that's the reason.
Okay. All right. So maybe we will check it. So we will provide either providing significance blocking information, or just have some early detect early. I don't know if this early access is still a good idea. And previously, if we can also run eBPF, we just fail. But later on, we have some code to work through that, so it does not fail. But let's just see if we can add a logging will help. All right.
Marcelo, is this related to 364 or 323? You mentioned an issue. What is related?
Sorry, it was a little bit breaking.
Which issue it was related? I see a 364, which is fixed BPF dependency, so that Kepler can always find containers. Is this related to that one?
It's also related to that. So, yeah, it's related to that. So, if we want, I think there are different approaches. So it's like completely remove the BPF dependence, so Kepler can run without BPF, or we fix the issue with BPF, and BPF will always run. You know, we have two different ways. I think BPF, especially the CPU time. So if BPF doesn't have harder counters, it's actually only collecting the CPU times. So we need to discuss which ways is better. I think that if we fix the issue with BPF is better, because we have it running, and in any case, but we also have the approach that we remove the dependence from the BPF to identify pods, and so that it might run, you know, without BPF.
Yeah. So hopefully let's see what is happening here. If that's the BPF issue, and we see if we can fix it.
Yeah. So we can open this for discussion.
Okay.
We can work. I think first we should maybe focus on fixing the BPF, and then if we find any other use case that BPF cannot be fixed, for example,
then we consider a second path.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. So the next one for 8. Also pen. I think this one. So how do you think that it is high priority? Is that something we're going to fix?
Yeah, but yeah, it's something important for creating the model server. I mean, like the initial model. However, at least I think it's locally, but I haven't pushed it to the PR yet because I have to up to date to the latest versions of the Keplers.
Okay.
Maybe not that high priority because we already got the data for train.
Okay. I just remove it. All right. That's 4, 5. Okay. Okay. So that's actually one of my questions too. So we'll have the model config. So how do we use this at the moment? So we have something over there. That's a URL. There's some instructions. How we are going to use it?
Yeah, with this, I think I also pushed the PR for this one as well, right? And to use, yeah, with that PR, it should be solved. I mean, it should be learned by, I mean, like automatically apply with the config manifest. I mean, like the config map.
Oh, so that is already. Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't realize this is already.
It's already merged. Yeah, so it should be already closed. Yeah, it should be able to close.
Thank you. Nice. The next one. So this one. Do we still using the block device used for model training? If you do not use the, give me a second. Okay. If you do not use the block device used, maybe you can just lower the velocity. So we do not print out too many of these with the messages.
Okay. Yeah, we can disable it.
All right. Let's put it at high priority so we don't forget. So this is the one Marcelo. I think I still could not understand what's the idea of.
All right. So maybe you can go to the my last comment. Yeah, here. So this one here. So we have the concept to get the container ID, okay? And there are some, and we have also the concept of aggregate all the system process in one like kind of container. It will be understood like a container, the system process. And to aggregate that, it needs to have the same ID. That's in the case, the system process ID, it's the name system process. But when we are reading some system process, it has container IDs. So for example, the container D process has a container ID. So, and we need to put that in the cache, this ID, because we need to get don't read files anymore if it's this ID was already tried to we already tried to get information from this ID. However, the ultimate ID that is being used in the matrix map should be the system process to aggregate everything. Because if we do use a different ID, you see here, for example, in the line, in the first line, it's using a specific container ID. No, sorry. And in the example here, yeah, in the logs here. Yeah, in the logs. So it has a container ID. So this is a system process. It's migration. So, however, it has a container ID for some reason. Okay, maybe our container ID function needs to be improved. It's another topic, but it's identifying the container ID for that. And when we report that for Prometheus, we'll report the system process container, and we'll report another container that has this ID here. Okay, so it will not aggregate things. So it's not aggregating all the system process in the same instance in the map. So that's why we need to replace this ID here, this number here, to the system process, so that it will aggregate all the information for all the instructions, for example, of the operation system process in only one instance in the container matrix map.
Okay, so so the way I see it, so this is makes there's added values. There was makes some distinctions, but the ID the downside is if the ID is persistence, just if there's no new system processes being created from time to time, then we do not have to thus we can add this logic. But if there's a new instances, new system IDs being created all the time, then I will have a cache miss. And once we have a cache miss, we have to go through this pod listing and go through the system
we are
FS
putting
again.
We are putting this ID to the cache. So what we do here, we will still put the ID to the cache, but after include this ID to the cache, we replace the name of this ID to system process. So then when, for example, there is a new, this process again with this ID, update some metric, it will go to the cache and it will be in the cache. And then it should be then replaced.
Yeah, so because we reset the ID, so here we reset the ID. So what we have in the cache is the
there is another line
name.
before that. If you go to, yeah, so we put here in the cache with the old ID to the cache, and then we put again the new ID in case that system process is still not in the cache.
Oh, okay.
So this,
all right,
this is the application.
Okay. So it's already all right. So if that is already not in the cache, that makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
So then we can do it. All right, that makes sense now. All right.
Thank you. Yeah. For some reason, I'm without have problem to access the
HackMD.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm just sending here. Okay, thank you. I'm sending here in the chat another issue that I just created. So if you can put here.
Yeah, I think I have that one. So yes. I have not looked at it yet.
Yeah, right. I just sent that. Okay, so just to summarize things. This is related to the performance issue that we had before. So we have been discussing that for some weeks already, isn't it? That the performance problem that we have. After some investigation for the profiling, even for CPU and memory, the most important, the most expensive calls were related to the ones that are calculating the CPU frequency. The one that calculates CPU frequency for containers, and the one that calculates CPU frequency for the nodes. The one that it's reading, because it's for the nodes means it's reading a lot of files, and it's being very expensive the way that it's doing. Okay, it's creating a lot of heap memory, and the garbage collector is going crazy, and then we see a lot of pressure to the CPU. The other thing is for the calculation for the CPU frequency for the containers. This calculation for the CPU frequency, it's also using a big vector that comes from the BPF, and also reading this. I'm not really sure, but it was creating a lot of memory on the heap also. So it turns out that in the beginning, very long time ago, we were trying to implement the CPU frequency from the BPFs. So I tried to do that again, follow up with that. So, and turns out that it's working. At least in my machine, it's working. Okay, it might be nice to test in other machines, but I tested 2 different machines. It's working. It wasn't working before, so I don't know the reason why it was not working back in time, but now it's working. So we can get the CPU frequency. There is a kernel trace that gets that, and BPF can read that and get the CPU frequency. We can calculate also the average CPU frequency utilization for the process, and we have also the CPU frequency for the node, because we have the hash with the node, and this improves the performance. We remove the dependency from the functions. If eBPF is not available, we still can go for the kernel version and get the CPU frequency for the node. Okay, I'm not calculating the CPU frequency for the process now if eBPF is not available. But again, if we fix the issues with BPF, we can. If we want to remove BPF, we can also think about that. But anyway, I think it should be fine now for now. And just to mention the last thing that I want to mention here. So before you are in the actually very good part of the code. Can you come back?
Okay.
Yeah. So this line 79. So this line 79 actually was failing in some machines. For example, in my machine was failing because I have a machine now that it has 160 CPUs. And when we implement that, actually the BPF cannot go more than 128. So it doesn't work here in my machine because it's too high, the number of CPUs. And we have this logic of this special, compiler parameter, it's called D frequency, that was disabled in this part. And this was failing for many people, that, isn't it? So in different environments, VMs, removing this, so the way that we are calculating, changing the way that we are calculating CPU frequency, we also remove that part. So it's one step that BPF will stop failing, at least for the first time. It was testing the second time without the frequency. And we don't need to have it now. Yeah, that's the.
I think that is good. If you can make the CPU frequency function work, then that is definitely the best step going forward. Yeah, I think that's a good fix. So you have verified that function. We can, the trace points exist, and we can get the CPU state, get the CPU frequency.
Yes, it works in my machine.
All right, I will check it out.
Are you running? You're not running in a VM, yeah?
No, it's a bare metal. However, this is a kernel thing. So
So it should
If the
work.
VM, if the VM has the CPU frequency, it should work.
So if you have an image, I can test it. I have it running in VM now. I could switch out if you have built an image with a PR.
Maybe we can just check
Offline.
the PR. You can clone and
Okay.
get the PR. So the other thing is I'm having problem with this commit message check. I tried many different ways.
Me too.
So I think something changed. So it's
I know. I figured it out on my PR. It's checking the title. It's checking the. I think that's what it was. I fixed it by updating the
title of the PR. Okay.
I try. I believe it was a good week ago, but I think that's how I fixed it, and I was surprised because the title is not a commit message.
Oh, so it's checking the title. I see. So we definitely need to fix that.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure. Try it though. That's what I remember.
I will try that.
Sam,
because the commits.
So Sam, do you have any instructions how to make the commit title work?
Do I?
No, Sam.
Well, usually for my PR, usually the title is same with my commit message. So well, let's check out because
let's see if that will work.
Honestly, we use another GitHub action called named as commit message checker. Wait, Minhua, could you back to the
That's probably just the title.
Yay!
Yeah.
Maybe we should take a look at that GitHub action if they change something.
Okay.
Might be some update. Yeah, that's right. Because it was working before. That's true.
Right.
We should skip the title. We should not check the title. That should be flexible.
Just check the commit message. Yeah. But this, I mean, I just look at the Perl stats. This looks great. So we do not have this garbage collection, cumulative time anymore. So that's a very good sign.
Yeah, it's improved a lot the performance. So
do you mind just so do you mind just give the logging message, like if you can show us the CPU frequency results in the log or in the matrix?
All right. Yeah, I can do that.
Sounds great.
I actually might have it here somewhere. I will wrote it right there.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I have a short comment related to the title stuff? I see some place that they do like using the bot to rename the title or something. If it's like a specific format. If we really want to have the format of the title of the PR, we can have such a bot to rename the title without throwing the errors of the PR.
That's interesting. Do you have the reference to the bot?
Yeah, actually in the operator hub, they do some change the names and the tag with the bot instead of like automatically update our PR titles.
Okay. I want to search that up. Okay. So we can have that self-reference.
Okay, I put reference later.
Okay, so let's use the last 10 minutes. For the release criteria, so as we made early in the beginning of the planning, so the release criteria is we have all the emergent issues are fixed, and we have the test coverage, we have the documentation. So that's we'll make our criteria. So at the moment, let's see what's our release for. So we do not have emergent items in the backlog, and we have some in progress. So this one, the end-to-end integration, we have something We have still waiting for the new the last end-to-end test that will detect the newly created parts and check the metrics. We still need that test, and we have this 50% coverage needs to be done. The Helm chart is in progress. Actually, it's in review. And the scalability test, this is not this is not urgent, so we can still wait. It's going to be a long-term deliverable. The operator, we have an early prototype, and we can have it by next week, hopefully. And actually this documentation. Oh, just what happened? Documentation. Okay. This one is already done. Documentation, deployment settings, and CLM options. Do we have this one? Three. The deployment models. So we have not. We have something, I think, but we do not have everything. So deployment scenarios and CLI options. That one is available. So that's become actually. We still need to work on this one. So what do you think about the possibilities we can cut to release in 2 weeks, in the middle of September? Oh, sorry, December. So Peru. So you are going to be tracking the progress, and by next week we can think together and see if what the likelihood we can cut release by mid of December.
Okay, yeah, sure. I think we have just the operator thing that is pending for this release. Otherwise, everything is done.
Also, the 333, we have not get started. This one.
Yes. Also on this issue, my question is, we keep on talking about config maps, but the manifest that we have, they don't have config maps. So, I mean, other manifest that is present in the Kepler project, it works. It did work for me, but are they using those node energy config maps and the model config maps that we've been talking about?
So we will check with parent. So what's our configurations? I think the config map, some of the model config map is already checked in, but we do not have a lot of documentation around it. So we still need to work on the docs.
Oh, okay. So it seems like now you are using without the config map, but use all of the default configurations.
Yes.
I see. Okay. Yeah. I will try to put the document there, but yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Sorry. For the config map, is this with regards to Kepler or Kepler model server or estimator? Because I think Kepler model server estimator have config maps.
I'm talking about
the Kepler, right?
Yeah, I'm just talking about Kepler.
Okay.
Actually, I also have the examples of using the config map for the Kepler as well. I can quickly share that before pushing any PR.
Okay. Maybe you can put in the discussion.
In what? Oh, in discussion.
Yeah, and also the PR. So we can track both.
Okay. Yeah, and maybe in the document. I mean.
Okay. So the second issue is so we have so because of the VM-based models are using the C group metrics, and the C group metrics are based on C group V2. So if we are running on C group V1, then we're out of luck. Should we support C group V1 metrics, or should we just keep on the C group V2 until it matures? Then we start working on the V1. So what's the So
I mean, this is clearly not for this release, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably okay. Yeah, this is also we have the end-to-end infrastructures. So hopefully we can share between all the repos. So when you're developing the operator and the Helm charts, we can use the same end-to-end test to verify that the deployments works and the Kepler works as a functions as it's designed. So also this is a to-do item for the next. We can use this for the next iteration.
Yeah,
that's
I
all we
will
have.
integrate the CI in time.
Thank you. Any questions? We have 3 minutes.
Yeah, Huamin, could you please open the link I just shared in the chat room? Yeah.
Okay.
So here's the result for our left to do for the package. And if you go, my last comments before this comments is the details, and there is a PR open with all the basic infrastructure added. So yeah, you can we can see most of them either related with some BPF or C groups, either some internal things like collector with pointers, and also some models there. So that's the things we left.
Okay, that is very good information. Thank you, Sam. I think we can make a more specific targets.
Yeah, I suppose for this ticket, if it's too large works for us, we can split those into just split them into different tickets and moving to the following release schedules.
Yeah, that sounds great. So we can go into that path. I think that should be the right way to do it, because not everything needs to be. Some of the code paths has already been exercised in deployments, but we do not have to have them coverage the unit test. All right, so maybe you can just split out the tickets into sub issues, and then we just make sure these major code paths are being tested. And if they are already running E to E, then we can lower the priority and we can move on to the next release.
But Huamin, could you please try to convert the to-do item into GitHub issue? I can't do that.
Yeah, I think we can. I don't know how to create sub issues.
Wait a minute. You just scroll down to the comments and move your mouse to one of the to-do items.
Okay.
To my latest
so if I just
comments.
This one? Can we submit
Yeah.
Can
No,
split it to the,
no any created there? Okay.
No, cannot create it here. I don't know.
Oh, well. Okay, I see.
All right. Yeah, let's just make the tickets more specific. So task coverage, and then we limit to which package.
All right. Okay, cool. I found a way to convert to issue. Okay.
All right, that's great. Thank you. And we will follow up on the Slack channels and GitHub. Thanks for your time, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Waman.
Bye-bye.
Are you still there, Waman?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Hey, do you have just 1 minute? Because I wanted to show the performance of my the Kepler exporter pod running in Microshift